All right, we are live. We'll quickly wait for my page to refresh. I'm gonna mute myself.
Oh yeah, kind of.
It takes a little bit because it lags a little bit. Perfect. Hey Mitch, you were first here though. That's pretty cool. Nick, what's up with the live stream? It's starting right now. We are on. We are live. So, hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're having a great day. I know I've been MIA for the past week or bit. I posted a video yesterday, but I came back from Cuba. I went to the Sportsman Show on Saturday. You guys saw the vlog from yesterday. If you haven't already, make sure you guys go check it out. I'm actually live streaming with Peelindrag, Josh from Peelindrag, I guess. This is your first live stream ever, isn't it?
Yes, I'm hoping it goes well.
I hope so too. So I'm going to let Josh introduce himself a little bit. I'm sure most of you guys are subscribed to him already. He has around 10K subs, I think.
Yep, just hit that like a month ago or so.
Perfect. All right, go ahead.
So I'm Josh. I'm in Michigan. I do a lot of just multi-species fishing, primarily pike and bass. I do a little carp fishing in spring, and just all-around fishing. But I like making videos, and that's kind of what I do.
Yeah. So he's pretty big into pike. I don't know if you guys have watched any of his ice fishing videos. Those things are insane. You've
Yeah,
caught some.
found a good spot this winter, and I got some. Actually, one of them, the 36 incher I caught, which was my personal best at the time, or well, still is now, is my new personal best. And I caught that one actually twice. It was the same one that I caught in two separate videos, but it was
Really?
the same fish I caught like probably within 20 yards of it, like a week later. So that was kind of
Wow.
cool.
That's pretty neat. I've yet to get on a pike. So
You've never caught one at all?
no, I live in Canada and haven't caught a pike, a northern pike. But before bass season opens, I'm going to try to get a pike over 30 inches. So we will see though.
Do you have any pickerel, or is it all pike?
Pickerel, as in like,
They're like I've caught like one. They're not really around here much, but they
are they
look
similar to pike?
yeah, they look very similar, just
Yeah,
different little
I
pattern.
think we do. We don't have a lot of lakes up here with pike in them, at least in my area. My lake doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have any pike at all, so that's why I haven't caught any. But
Hmm.
yeah. So we can start answering questions, I guess. I know a bunch of you guys were asking some questions. But how old are we? I am 18.
And I'm 19.
Josh is 19. Perfect. If you guys have any bass fishing, pike fishing, ice fishing questions, let us know. We'll answer them. It's gonna be a general Q&A. Is it my computer saturation or are you looking tan? I'm tan. I went to Cuba, guys. Come on. I always tan a fair bit whenever I go away, or even in the summertime. I'm not sure if you guys remember from my videos. I was a lot more tan than I was a week ago. It just kind of depends. But I burnt my stomach and my upper legs so much that I'm still peeling. It's been like a week and a bit. I'm still peeling. It's pretty gross, but yeah. My face doesn't usually tan as much just because I wear a hat most of the time. But
How's it going, Mitch? I see Mitch 846 comments on a lot of my videos, so
really, that's awesome. There you go. We got some overlap.
yep.
So this is a question for you, me, I guess. What's the first fish you'll target once the ice is off? I'm not sure if you already iced out or not.
Yep, I've been iced out for like a month, and I actually started off bass just because I have good spots for them. Now I'm pretty much going to be only bass and carp, probably once it starts warming up a little bit, just because pike are off season for like March 15th to April 30th. We can't fish for them here, but bass is year round now. It changed like a year or two ago, so now we can fish for bass, catch and release year round. So yeah, that's gonna be what I'm probably gonna be fishing for mostly, and as well as carp. But I'm going to actually Colorado tomorrow at like 5 something, or I have to leave like 2 to go to the airport. But I'm gonna be going there for trout for like a week, so that'll be kind of
That's
cool.
awesome.
We might do some walleye in there. I'm not sure, but mostly gonna be fly fishing for trout, like in the mountains and the rivers and stuff. So I'm
You'll be
excited for that.
you'll be filming, right?
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Hopefully, my friend actually goes to the Air Force Academy up there or down there, I guess.
Yeah.
So he knows, like, he fishes there a lot, and so he said we can get like 6 trout per person per day.
Really.
So if that's the case, that'll be some good footage.
That's a lot better than what I can do. I can catch like one a day if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
But you're lucky you have bass all year round. Our bass open end of June.
Well, before
But
we had bass year round, I just, you say you're crappie fishing with
yeah,
jerkbaits or something.
yeah. Yeah, I haven't actually I try to follow the laws as close as possible.
Yeah,
It's just On my lake especially, it's more of like a private lake. So if people see me with a bait caster or something like that, they'll come up to my cottage and give me shit. But
Yeah. Well, and they know you too, probably then. So
yeah,
that
if
they know you're.
yeah, exactly. But Pike closed March 31st and open back in May, I think. So I'll be pike fishing, and I have a trip planned for walleye, for some trophy walleye. So I cannot wait for that.
Nice. Yeah, that's the thing. Where are you going for walleye?
Detroit River.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard about a lot about the Detroit River. Like I always see pictures of people catching like 30-inch walleyes out of there.
It's
So,
insane. It's insane. Just hopefully we get on a good day where there's some big ones coming up. But I still haven't booked the day for that yet, so we'll see. But I'm going out with a buddy of mine. But what happened to my hand wrist? When I get this question a lot, I have absolutely no idea what happened to my wrist. I just haven't been able to put pressure on it for the past week. I broke this wrist before, so I don't know, but it's not broken or anything like that. It just hurts. So I'm getting it checked Friday though, so we'll be good. It's nothing too big. So, any tips on ice out pike? This is for you.
ooh, jerk baits like 10-second pause, 10-15-second pause. That's what I always. If it's clear water, if it's dirty water, jigs or lipless crankbaits, loud like rattle traps, red shads are good. It's kind of weird. Like I've caught them with lipless crankbaits like right after like half the lake will still be frozen, and it's like a reaction strike. And that's pretty much what it is. They're not like, so you're kind of fan casting out, making like just covering it until it goes by him. It didn't make sense to me until my friend actually, he mentioned it to me. He heard from someone else say this, but it's like for them this is just reaction baits in general, but it's why you're able to catch them on like a fast bait, like a rattle trap, in early when it's still cold. Is just because like if you throw a tennis ball at someone, they're gonna grab it. They're just gonna catch a reaction,
Yeah.
And so if you throw a lipless crankbait right by a bass's face, lots of times they just grab it.
They
So
don't. Yeah, they don't have hands or anything like that. They have to use their mouth to see and
yeah.
feel and that stuff. So
But yeah, clear water though, I always throw jerk baits. It sucks fishing that slow because you're throwing it out a couple of jerks, letting it sit for like anywhere from 7 to 15 seconds usually, and
yeah,
then you give it a few more jerks and you let it sit, and so it takes a really long time to reel it in. But you can one of the best times I've ever seen, like in my local area, one of my coworkers, he had like an 18-pound bag, and half the lake was still frozen, all on jerk baits. So
wow,
I
that's
mean.
good. And for
Yeah.
jigs, do you fish them like a bass jig, or do you swim them, or?
I use like little finesse jigs, and well, the lake I fish a lot, it's kind of weedy, so I can't like drag it really.
Yeah,
I'll just basically drag as much as I can. Usually it's just really small, slow hops. I'm not like hopping it, like letting it fall in slack. I'll just really slowly pull it up and then slowly let it down. So like I'm keeping a tight line the whole time, and that way you can
right.
feel the bites a lot better because sometimes it's a really light bite. But if you get like, if you even if it's like 34, 35-degree water, like it can be really cold water. But if it's like a 50-degree sunny day, then the bass can hit. Like I've had them hit really hard when it's like super cold water. But if it's sunny out, that makes
Yeah.
them a lot more active.
And I saw a question. What's your biggest bass to date?
My biggest is 6 pounds for largemouth, and then smallmouth, I'm not sure. It's probably like 3.5, 4 pounds. It was a river.
Wow.
We only have. That's the thing for smallmouth. I'd like to get on more. Is rivers. Or we have the Grand River goes right by me, and that's the best spot for smallmouth around here. But those are all like lean fish. They're
Yeah.
not going to be like you'll catch like 19, sometimes 20-inch smallmouth, but they're like
Rare.
3.5 pounds because they're just kind of skinny like river fish.
Yeah, my PB smallmouth is 23 inches, and I don't think he was any more than like 4.5, 5 pounds because it was so skinny.
23 is still pretty good.
It was a
That's
really, really long fish. I wish I had a
yeah.
scale back then, but I didn't.
Hmm.
My
How
other
long?
question. Excuse,
What?
how long I caught it? How long ago I
Yeah.
caught it? 3 years ago. Yeah,
Hmm.
3 years in August on uh, what was it on? I think it was on a popper. It was on
Topwater.
Topwater. It was on
That's pretty
Topwater.
cool.
Yeah. How do you catch carp? I don't fish for carp, so this is for you.
Well, I use a hair. It's gonna be hard to explain this without like showing it,
Yeah.
but I use a hair rig and a bolt rig, which you can look up. It's like a really basic, like most people who like carp fish use that. Essentially, it's like a big weight, like a 3 ounce of weight, and then I use like a foot long leader, and then to my hook, I use like a number 6, just thick wire hook, and then the hair rig is like a kind of piece of line that goes underneath the hook, maybe like an inch or so, and you put the corn on that. and then
I have
basically
some of those.
yeah, what happens there is just basically the carp, they suck up the corn, and then the hook's totally exposed because if you put the corn just on the hook, and it's such a small hook, it'd be easy for the hook to be basically hidden, and so then the carp's not gonna, grab it, or they're gonna grab it, but they're not gonna be able to get hooked as easily. And then when they'll pick up the corn, feel the heavy weight, it'll prick them because that's whatever, it's like resistance, and then they'll just take off because they get scared, and then that's called the bolt riggins because they bolt off. So
That's pretty
that's
neat.
why I use, and it's kind of a weird technique, and I didn't like using it at first because it was like it's just like hard to. I felt like the fish were going to come off a lot, but
It's hard to picture the physics.
yeah, I would think they'd feel it prick and let go, but they feel it prick and just take off because your rod will be bending like crazy, and it works pretty well.
I've yet to catch a carp in like North America. I used to carp fish back in Poland. I probably still will when I go back. I'm going back this summer.
Nice.
But I've heard of some pretty big carp here. But then again, all the carp areas around here that I've heard of at least are near the city, and like it's really multicultural and that stuff. And I don't feel like there will be a lot of carp left, kind of thing, just because a lot of people do eat them. But we'll see. I don't know. I haven't really set my mind to go and fish for carp.
Yeah.
But
it was fun for the fight. Like I go and it's kind of like a downtown area where I go, and there's like homeless people that come over and just talk to me while I'm fishing, and
yeah,
I mean they're nice guys, but like it's a very interesting culture around there.
Yeah, for sure. Smallies or largemouth? Personally, I'm a smallmouth type of person. Personally, they're prettier fish. I think they're prettier fish at least. Put up a hell of a fight, and I just prefer fishing for them. I do fish for largemouth, as you guys saw, but usually in late spring, early fall, I'm just fishing for smallmouth, just because they bite. They're so aggressive and they bite so much, they're feeding up and all that stuff. But how about you?
That's hard to say. Like if I could get on really big smallmouth, then I would think. Like I think if I could get on like 4 or 5 pound smallmouth, then I would definitely choose those. But since I don't have those around here, I would almost say largemouth just because I catch bigger largemouth around here.
Yeah.
But
you're in southern Michigan, right?
Yeah, mid Michigan. But yeah. So I mean, if I think, I'd probably say smallmouth, but I fish for largemouth a lot more just because that's what I have. I mean, we can catch a lot of smallmouth around here, but it's mostly in the rivers, and lots of them are like 10, 12 inches, and you'll get the occasional, big one.
Okay, yeah. And I haven't used the Ducket Ghost rods, but have you?
Yes, that's actually probably my favorite rod. I have one I use for a jig. It's like a 7-foot medium heavy, I think, Ducket Ghost, and I picked it up. I think I got for I think they're right around $100.
Yeah.
But they're pretty light. They're not like, I mean, I've had lighter rods, but they're really sensitive. I just like how it feels. Like that's my favorite setup, and I have it on another Lose reel, which is like a $80 reel, and I think it's the Laser MG, and that's really good. That's like a $175 setup, and it's like really solid. I mean, that's probably my favorite setup I have.
I was gonna pick one up, but I didn't. But they look pretty sweet, like white rods.
Yeah, well, that's another thing I like about them is the white, because they're completely white, and so honestly, as dumb as it sounds, it's good for like thumbnails. Like, if I'm fighting a fish, I'll use for a thumbnail a lot, and it's because it shows up really well against the water and stuff.
What's your favorite topwater frog? For me, I don't fish topwater frogs as much as I should. I use the boya frogs a lot. I've had the most luck on them. But I'm going to plug this really quickly. Doomsday Tackle came out with a frog lately, as you guys can see right there. This is still in the package. I'm saving this for a giveaway. But it's made out of like elastic material, but a lot stronger, I guess. They're a little bit more dense. And you just have to thread it through like a Texas rig. You can have the hook exposed. You can have it totally weedless, but it's a totally new concept. I can't wait to try these guys out. I have one open in my tackle box, but it's all the way over there. I'm not going to go get it. But I can't wait to try those frogs out. I'm pretty sure they've been sold out for a little bit, but it's a totally new concept. I feel like I like fishing. I don't fish really, really heavy cover, so having the hook exposed as opposed to having 2 hooks digging into some rubber will have a better hookup ratio for me at least, but I can't wait to use those. Quebec in the St. Lawrence River. The St. Lawrence River has huge smallmouth. I'll hopefully be fishing there very soon. It's one of my bucket list spots, I guess you could say. Peelindrag biggest bass is 6 pounds, he said. Right?
Yes.
Yes. And then we're talking about PBs again. So my largemouth PB is 5.75 pounds. Broke it last summer on a chatterbait. And for smallmouth 23 inches, I didn't have a scale. Do you guys ever use 2-piece rods? That's a pretty good question and topic to talk about, like 2-piece rod sensitivity versus what's it called? Oh, I totally went blank. All right, we can talk about 2-piece rods though. So I have two-piece rods. One of my very first, that's actually not my very first, I bought it last year. I bought a 2-piece rod last year just to have in the car. I ended up using it a lot actually. I have a Fenwick Eagle that's 2-piece, and my very first baitcaster is also 2-piece, and I still have it with me. I don't use those rods much just because of their specs. I've bought more or newer rods that are one, better quality, like a higher model in the lineup, or two, just have better specs to them, like 7 foot instead of a 6.6 knot stuff. So I just don't use my 2-piece rods as much. But I'm sure, as opposed to a couple of years ago, the 2-piece rods now are a lot better with sensitivity and strength and all that stuff. I know a bunch of people that use 2-piece rods, so I don't think it's much of an issue. What's your take on them?
Yeah, I don't have any, or I have, the only ones I have are like my carp rods and things like that. But like for my main like 7 or 8 bass rods I have, none of them are 2-piece. I used to use them, and I used them only time I used them, like I can't really have a fair say on them really, because it was like when I was a lot farther back and I wasn't as serious into fishing, so I can't really I didn't pay attention to like specs about them and stuff. The only thing I really notice is when I cast. Sometimes when I don't pay attention, I cast the front half off. But I feel like probably most people have done that. That's just, I mean, that's whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really use them very much right now. Although I have thought about trying to find like a nicer one to use, because when I was realizing when I go up to Colorado, I'm not gonna bring any rods. I'm gonna have to use all my friends there, because it was my bad planning. But basically, I'd have to pay like $80 for a carry on, and so I'm not gonna bring any rods because I just wouldn't be able to fit them. But it would be nice to have like a good quality like 2-piece rod that I can take traveling like that. But
yeah, carp up here are invasive, and they do eat all the grass. I'm lucky enough not to have any carp in my lake, so I do have a lot of grass in my lake. But there's still a bunch of people that eat them and fish for them and all that stuff. I did block Clayton. I saw his comment. I just got there, so I'm not dealing with any trolls today. So
I saw a good one. It was Dustin asked what's a good bait for punching, and for me, probably the Havoc Pit Boss. That's what I use the most. I just started punching this summer because the lake it wasn't treated for weeds, and so like half of the lake was just like a huge weed mat.
wow.
And so I got into punching and Havoc Pit Boss, and I think the D-Bomb, I forgot who makes that.
It's a gambler.
I don't think it's Gambler.
I have no clue.
Missile Baits. That's what it is. Missile Baits. Yeah, Missile Baits, D-Bomb, and the Havoc Pit Boss are like the two I use the most. But
Okay.
I found I don't know, it seems like it's almost a reaction bite when you're punching. Like most soft, like low profile baits, as long as they're nothing crazy. I found that worked well for punching.
I agree. Low profile baits. I don't punch a lot, so I don't really have a take on this. But from what I've seen, low profile baits, not too many appendages because you can get slime and grass stuck on that. But a small, thinner profile, I think, will work really well to get through. Some mats. Who designed my logo? As you guys can see right here, a buddy of mine designed it. Actually on preview on his laptop, so it didn't take too much. But this one doesn't have any color to it. As you guys can see, it's usually black with a red tail. But I'm planning on having some apparel out in the future. Not like Lady Bass, my full-on logo. I don't think you guys want to have a shirt or sweater that says Lady Bass on them, but I have a couple of designs in mind. Hey, Hooked Fishing, how's it going? Haven't talked to you in a while. Wait, which Hooked Fishing? Damn it, there's so many Hooked Fishings that I subscribe to. Damn, there's one Hooked Fishing that I totally forget his name. I used to live stream like a full year back when I first started. But what's the best pound test for braid? It depends what you're doing, in my opinion. I've used 40-pound braid for all of my life for frogs, for jigs, for Texas rigs. Recently, I bought 65 just because I want to up it up a little bit. But I think you can't go wrong between the 40 and 50 or 60-pound braid mark
Yeah,
for bait casters.
I use 50 for frogs and 65 for punching. But you can probably, I mean, you don't need really 65, like, unless you're in really heavy cover and you really need to get them out quick, I guess. But you can probably use like 40 or 50 even for punching.
Yeah. It doesn't take, well, the diameter's a lot smaller for braid. You guys probably know that. It doesn't take too much. Like 40-pound braid, you guys can imagine how hard it is to break 40-pound braid. But what is your first bait caster rod? So my first bait casting rod was a Fenwick Nighthawk combo, 6.6 medium fast action 2-piece rod. I paired that up, or I bought it as a combo with the Fluger Supreme bait casting reel. $100 reel, about a $60 rod I got for $100. So I'm pretty excited about that. Sale had a huge deal. But the reel, it's held up pretty well. I did have to get something fixed this past summer. I opened it up and I guess I didn't put it back together properly or something like that. I don't know. But I got that fixed. But yeah, I use that rod for poppers and spooks, or I will be using it for poppers and spooks. What about you?
What was the question? Sorry, I was trying to find comments.
Yeah.
What do you?
What's your first bait casting rod?
Oh, geez. I think it was like, I'm gonna get crap for this. I think it was like a Shakespeare or something like that. It was like an ugly. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was an ugly stick.
Yeah, a lot of people start off with ugly sticks, I guess.
I think I was trying to. I remember it was like I forgot what it was a Pinnacle, a baitcaster. It was like this blue Pinnacle. I haven't seen my really old videos, but I remember I went to the sporting goods store and the guy I think he was just knew I wasn't didn't know what I was doing. I went there with like $200 and bought some whatever. I thought I was gonna get some sweet rod. And it was like it was actually a 2-piece. And I still have it, but I never use it. It's like a 6.5 foot, which is that's kind of small for me.
Yeah. That'd probably be good for topwater though, for skipping docks.
Yeah.
With like soft plastics or something.
I can't skip docks at all. I suck at it.
I'm pretty bad at it too. I've been working on it though. I used to skip with the 7 foot. I think I still will skip with the 7 foot just because I don't really have a rod under 7 feet that's a medium heavy or a heavy. Mm-hmm. So I'll have to figure it out because like my last boat, I don't know if you watched any of my old videos, but it was like a tin boat, really shallow and like a flat bottom. So I was like standing below the water, I guess you could say. So it was really hard to work my baits downwards. With my new boat, I have a casting deck, so I should, figure it out a little bit better now.
Yeah.
But it was absolutely awful working a frog or a popper or anything like that in my last boat because I was with a 6 foot with a 6.6. I was still hitting the water. So yeah,
that's why I use a lot. Actually, where I work, I fish a lot. I can use the park. I work at a county park, and I use their boats a lot. The boats they use to rent out in the summer, and even those boats, it's like they're rowboats. They're not really fishing boats, and so I'll hit the side sometimes, and it gets kind of annoying, but
you gotta do what you have though.
Exactly, it's a free boat.
Yeah. Have you guys gone around and using the Whopper Plopper yet? Yeah, I got one in my mystery tackle box last winter around this time. I've used it a couple of times. It's amazing. It's a really good bait. It's like a smaller profile buzz bait. I look at it that way. Buzz baits don't work very well on my lake. I'm not sure why, but the Whopper Plopper for sure. I've caught a lot of different species on it actually. I've caught a largemouth, smallmouth, rock bass, and actually caught a perch once. But
I think I've caught like a few fish on a Whopper Plopper. I think I got one from the mystery tackle box as well. Yeah. And yeah, I just haven't used it much. I mean, I know they catch lots of fish. I've seen so many videos of it. I just haven't given it a bunch of time. Same with the buzz bait. I've never actually caught fish on a buzz bait just because I've used it like a few times.
Yeah.
If I'm using Topwater, it's usually like a jitterbug or a pad crasher, like a booyah, little pad crasher, things like that. Not usually like open water, topwater fishing.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I guess I use a spook, but
yeah, I'm more into like the open water, topwater fishing, I guess. Yeah. I love taking out a popper or a spook in the evening when the smallmouth are coming up to feed in the summer. It's such a fun time. I frog fished a lot 2 years ago. Like I was really, really into it. And last year I don't know why, I just didn't really fish that shallow. So
I barely did any frogging last year. Yeah. Just because I started punching. and like I don't know why. I started to wonder like unless it's really like just sparse like really thin vegetation, then
Yeah.
I won't throw a frog anymore because punching is like there's so much better hookup ratio and you're targeting more fish because there are fish, the aggressive fish that are going to hit a frog are most likely going to hit your punch rig as well.
Yeah.
But you're also targeting fish that are less active and probably not going to, bust the surface to get your frog. And so, and just like I said, the hookup ratio. I mean, you feel a thump, it's like a jig bite. You feel a
Yeah.
good thump, and you set the hook, and you have, really heavy line. You almost always get them in unless you
Yeah.
get them stuck around something. So I found the hookup ratio is just way better than the frog, and so I usually punch now instead of throwing a frog.
Yeah, a lot of people also have a punching rig or something like that as a follow-up bait when they're frog
Yeah.
fishing. Yeah, that's really good analysis, though. I didn't think of it that way. Um, sorry, I'm not gonna like answer. I know a lot of you guys are talking about like having like loving both of us and like watching all of our videos. I'm not gonna like talk about those because we have a bunch of people on here. I wasn't expecting these many people to show up, but I'm still going through the comments right now looking for questions. But
Let's see. Yeah, Mitch asked when I'm going smallmouth fishing with my dad, and the guy actually you're referring to is not my dad. My dad's doesn't fish. None of my family fishes. It's actually a family friend who I go out with. He's an older gentleman, and we go and float the river. But hopefully I'll be doing that soon to answer your question. Just once the water warms up a little bit.
yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. Do you guys tournament fish? If so, how do you do? I don't tournament fish. I'm planning on doing my first tournament next year, not this year, next year. I'm planning on joining a club, but I have never tournament fished in my life. What about you?
I did like a little string of tournaments with my friends, just like a mid-Michigan kind of thing. We sucked it up pretty bad. It was not very good.
Yeah.
We fished like I don't know, I think well it was his boat he was using or his friend's boat he was using, and I switched off with one of his friends, so I fished like half the tournaments. And I think him and his friend won of the tournaments, placed like third or fourth with like a 3 fish limit, and so it wasn't a very good tournament. And then what the best we've ever done, we got our limit once, and they were like a limit of like it was probably 9 pound, 9 or 10 pound total, so it wasn't a very good. It was fun. It's fun though. I recommend it. Like it's fun to experience. Like it's a whole different kind of fishing. Like I can go out and just fish by myself, but it's like strategic almost when you're
Yeah.
going out for a tournament because you have to hit places that other people aren't going to hit first, or just like you want to get your limit first and then go out for bigger fish or whatever. And it's a lot of fun.
A lot more pressure too, so like kind of
Yeah,
tests you.
exactly. Yeah, that's one thing. That's what I didn't like about it. Like
No.
I'm open to fishing them if I can get access to a boat and stuff, but I mean I'd rather just fish for fun, honestly.
Yeah. I have no clue because I haven't fished any, but I'm a very, very competitive person, so I'm not sure how that's gonna go.
Yeah.
But we'll see. If I do fish one, I'll be a co-angler for sure, just because I'd rather learn something while I'm there from my main angler other than just like sucking it up. But you should go musky fishing with the Whopper Plopper. I
That'd
haven't
be
heard of
cool.
I haven't heard of people. Oh, they have the larger size Whopper
Yeah, they're
Plopper.
like the huge ones.
I may have to pick one up when I'm going for musky and pike.
Do you have muskie in your area?
Yeah, we have musky.
See, that's my problem. People always want me to, like, I make all these pike videos and people assume I've caught muskie.
Yeah,
I've caught more pike than I can count, but I've never caught muskie. I've had
really.
one, actually, I had one time last fall, I had a muskie kind of really, like, dive after my spit, or my chatterbait, I think. And that was the only encounter I've ever had. I've never seen one in person other than that. But
Do they
we just,
do they have behavioral differences?
I think from what I've heard and what I've seen, they're just a lot harder to catch. I don't know what it is. Um, Like pike, I mean honestly, pike when I'm in the river, I mean when I fish the river for pike, those pike are like there's not a whole ton of food in that river, so if I throw
Yeah,
anything at those pike, they're usually gonna grab it. It's more of a and when I'm doing it in the river, it's more of finding them versus getting them to bite.
yeah.
But the muskie, from what I've seen and stuff, it's just they're called fish of 10,000 casts or whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean they're just I don't know what it is, but they look very similar except for the pattern to
Yeah,
pike.
yeah.
But yeah, they're just people go out there and fish for them for days and days and finally get one fish and say
Um,
it's worth it. I don't see how, but
SB fishing, I think the channel name.
yeah, I've watched
SB.
his videos.
Yeah, I think he finally caught one.
Oh, really?
The video. I didn't watch the video, but I saw the Instagram post of a
Nice.
picture of a muskie, so that's cool for him. But yeah, I really want to catch a trophy muskie in my lifetime, which is I think 50 inches.
Yeah, Detroit
Yeah.
River I think has them.
Really?
I think so.
I think they're closed though in Canada.
Oh, probably, yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, you get one on a walleye jig, you're probably not keeping it on either.
No.
So
No, exactly. No. Um, do you use Strike King soft plastics like the Structure Bug, Rage Craw, etc.?
I use Rage Crawl a lot in the summertime for a jig trailer, but I don't use it. I've never used like, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I've never used like a structure bug or anything. I know I've used a Rage Crawl. I might have used a few of the other, or I got one in the Mr. Tackle box before. It was like a curly tail worm kind of thing. It was really long,
Okay.
curly tail. Forgot what it's called though, but I know that was a Rage series, and so I've used that, and that's pretty good. So I like their plastics, but I haven't used a whole ton of variety other than their Rage Crawl.
Me either. I haven't used a whole ton. I used to use their tubes a lot before I found the English Choice tubes, but I used their flukes, like the caffeine shads.
Okay.
I've honestly never used one of their Rage Craws. I know that sounds pretty dumb, but first of all, up here they're really expensive, so actually I haven't bought any. I got a pack on a mystery tackle box. I haven't used it yet though, but I heard they're amazing. I don't know. I found other craws I like, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you use any overspins or underspins? I think that's
Underspins, I've used them. I've caught fish on them. There's like 2 years ago, I think I got like on a pretty good bite with them. But I think I caught like one. I've used it once last year. The thing is, like, I think from what I've heard, I guess, I guess, I've never found a time where like those are the only baits that like are really working. Like
Yeah.
I've caught fish on them and stuff, but I've never had. Yeah, so I'll usually just like throw them out when I'm experimenting. I'll catch a few fish, but it's not like a super good underspin bite or whatever. And also lots of times I think people use them for like suspended deep fish and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I don't like. There's one lake I'm gonna fish more this summer. It's deeper, but most of the spots I fish are like 17 foot. It's like a deep area, and it's like
Okay.
weedy, and so it's just harder to fish it. For like if you're fishing deep. But if I got like maybe like a quarter ounce or something, I could fish a little shallower. But I need to get one of those before I do that.
Yeah, so I've used them too as well. I started using them this summer actually. I use them for deep suspended bass. I've actually had a great deal of luck on them. I've only used them for like slams, I believe, though. I haven't actually picked one up as opposed to like a spinnerbait or a chatterbait.
Mm-hmm.
But as for the slams, usually every like first like 5 casts I got a fish. So yeah, they're pretty. I don't think the fishermen like have seen anything like it.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't see a lot of people throwing them. That's for sure. And
Yeah.
it's like really like subtle. I mean, with the blade, and it gives a little like extra action to swim bait. It's a cool idea, and I think they definitely have their time and place. But I've never the lakes around me. I've never found like really good bite for them around me.
Yeah. Lake St. Clair has the best musky fishery in the world. Fun fact for you. Perfect. So I can head down there for some smallmouth and for some musky. I think Benjamin Noack actually caught a huge musky over there. But that's cool. I really want to go there this summer. Have you ever used the Spro Bronze-Eye Frog? I haven't.
Yeah, I don't think I have either. Unless if I have, I've used it once or twice. But
See, some companies like Spro and like a couple other like U.S. companies we don't have up here. So it's kind of hard to find their baits. Usually, if anything, I have a local store near me called Gang and Sports. They have usually the more international, I guess, baits. Like they have a bunch of like Jackal, Duo, MegaBass, probably some other baits from the U.S. But it's a lot harder to find some of those companies up here for me.
yeah. How much are your megabass around there? Are they expensive? I mean, ours are like 25 for a Vision 110.
Yeah,
Are they
ours are between $30 and $32.
Oh, nice.
That's with the dollar exchange, right? So it's technically like $25 US.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like it would even out to like $29-$30. So I guess they pay the extra $2 for bringing them over here, but they're not cheap. I actually bought. I'll show you. I got a nice little MegaBass box now. But at the last show I went to, not the sportsman show, but the fishing and boat show. I'm pretty sure most of you guys have seen these. I bought 2 of the MegaBass Vision 110s. This is the 110. This is the 110 Plus. But these are in the Northern Secret color. It's a limited edition color for Canadian anglers, I guess you could say. You can only buy them in selected Canadian retailers. So it's a pretty cool color right there. But I was pretty pumped about that. Finding them. It was my first MegaBass I've ever bought. So.
Yeah, see, I don't know what it is about the megabass. because they're like most jerkbaits are 10-12 bucks around there,
Yeah.
and they're not. I don't think they're like 2 or 3 times better than other jerkbaits.
Yeah.
But there definitely seems like there's something. Like I've used, and I've just had really good days on fishing 110s. Just and like it's always like really cold water and stuff. That's the only time I really fish jerkbaits. But I won't fish them in pike waters though. Like if there's a lake that has pike in
Yeah.
it, I will not use it because
You don't want to lose it.
yeah, 25-inch pike is not worth losing
Yeah.
a $25 lure because I've already lost. I've casted one off, which sucked,
Damn.
and that was the last time I bought one because I didn't want to buy another one after that.
Yeah, I think I'll cry if I lose one of these.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's so expensive.
Casting it off, seeing it fly off, and you got like one time I saved it. I cast it off. Actually, the one time I had one Vision 110. The first one I bought, I had like 3 times where I almost lost it. Like the first time I set the hook on the fish, and then broke the line for some reason.
Oh my
And I saw the
gosh.
line though, and I grabbed the line and I pulled the fish in, and the fish got off right on the side. And just
Wow.
like things like that always happened. And then finally I cast it off, and it was too far gone for me to get it. So whatever.
Yeah, that would not be a fun day.
Nope.
I'm planning on buying. I want to buy one of the juniors as well, the Trout, the junior Vision 110s. But the next one I buy will probably be a perch color.
I've never
I
seen
do.
smaller ones. It's just a smaller.
Yeah, it's a lot smaller, a little lighter, I think, as well. But they have the same specs, like the same depth. They're just a little bit smaller, and I think they have 2 hooks instead of 3.
Okay.
Yeah. This should be a weekly thing. I wish I had the time for that. Very busy. I'm a very busy person with school and that stuff. I'm not sure about Josh, but
Yeah, I'm pretty busy. It's more with work for me, especially for like this kind of thing. Like I had to leave work a little early for this, and like it's just especially because I close the park a lot of times, and so I'm staying there until like dark, and it gets darker later and later. So
are you in school right now?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. We got a lot of Spro frogs. They are great. Yeah, I haven't used them, but come to St. Clair and fish with me. I'm gonna go to St. Clair eventually. So, oh, I missed all the questions. We have Spro in Canada. A couple stores in Toronto area have them. Good to know. I haven't seen any Spro. Actually, no, I lied. I've seen one Spro in a Canadian Tire in Bancroft, which is like the weirdest place to see them because Bancroft's like 3 hours north of here. It's like a country area. So it's kind of weird to see a Spro there, but I haven't seen or noticed any, I guess.
Yes, or for Fishing Frenzy, I do recommend the Duck Ghost. It's one of my favorite rods.
Yeah.
Yes.
You absolutely love your MegaBass. Yeah, I'm gonna love them until I lose them. I'll cry when I lose them. I'm a budget fisherman. I'm a student. It's kind of hard to spend the $35-ish with tax on one bait, but I really wanted to try them, so I ended up picking up the 110, the 110 Plus. So came across Peelindrag's channel. You know what? Funny story is, I used to have a different channel than this, like just for like browsing around videos. This was like 3 years ago, I think. You were one of the first fishing YouTubers I subscribed to. It was Fluke Master, then it was you. So this is pretty funny that you're live streaming with me now. But
yeah, I've started watching Fluke Master's videos a lot more now.
Yeah. He really got me. He really like helped me set my path on like bass fishing. He taught me so much. It's like some of his older videos are just like perfect.
Yeah.
The amount of information and all that stuff. But I guess now it's a lot harder to make tutorial videos because he's already kind of done them. And how many like lipless crankbait videos can you make? But I like what he's doing still. Husky jerks. I actually picked up a husky jerk. I was talking to Josh actually. I'll be going pike fishing before bass season opens, and I was talking to Josh about some pike lures, and he said that the 12 and 14 size husky jerks are amazing, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I picked up a couple of those, so I can't wait to use them. I actually haven't used husky jerks before that. I was always like a shadow wrap, X-wrap kind of person.
Yeah, I like shadow wraps that's why I used to use a ton for bass. And I use X-wraps a lot for pike and smallmouth, but it's just I don't know why I couldn't picture myself using a husky jerk for like bass though. I think they're suspending. I'm not sure. I think they make some suspending and some floating, but
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it's because they're kind of ugly. Husky jerks are kind of ugly baits, but like for pike, they don't care. And there's like a very like it's like it looks like the original
Yeah.
Rapala floater. So that's why I kind of feel like I guess they're ugly, but like the Rapala X wraps and Shadow
Yeah.
wraps, those are a lot more realistic looking.
Doesn't say if it floats or sinks. This one, the 12 size right here, it
Okay.
says that it's dives to 4 to 8 feet, but it doesn't say if it's floating or not. I'm gonna quickly check because I'm really interested now. But you can keep going with the questions, I guess.
Let's see. What are your opinions on spinning reels? I don't really like them that much. I mean, there's a time and place for them. I use them pretty much only for drop shotting though. Um, I used to use them a lot, and I can see where they're good for like if you're not very good at skipping, you can skip docks and stuff a lot easier without backlashing, obviously. But I just can't like once you start throwing baitcasters, it's so hard to like get
Go
back and
back.
use. Yeah, like I used to like have such a hard time with spinning reels and stuff, and I use baitcasters and just being able to use the thumb on your thumb your spool and being able to like control your line that much like it helps a lot being able to like stop your spool and lever with your thumb so quickly.
Yeah.
And
And
you don't
you
need
have
to
a
stop it. You can just like slow it down too and stuff. So
you have a lot more power with a baitcaster too. It's like a
yeah,
winch, right, as
yeah,
opposed to a
that's
spinning
another
reel.
thing. Like I feel like even if I had like 65-pound braid, a heavy rod and stuff on a spinning reel, like to imagine punching with that, like
No.
I just yeah, you could do it, but it would just be a lot more difficult. It feels weird to me like to think about doing that, but like I don't think I could flip. I'd rather flip docks or like pitch or something, skip docks and stuff with a baitcaster,
Yeah.
even though it'd be a little harder just because I feel like I'd hit so many docks with a spinning reel because I wouldn't be able to control it. So I like basically to answer the question, I like spinning reels only for like finesse, drop shot,
Yeah.
that kind of thing, just open water, like not casting in corners of trees and stuff like that.
I'm exactly the same on the same boat as Josh. I only use it for finesse applications. Um, like I know people. There's a bunch of people that I know of that have really really light bait casting setups as opposed to spinning setups. Like they have no spinning setups at all. So they have like SV spools, like Daiwa super light finesse kind of reels with a really really light rod for like drop shots and all that stuff. I don't have like the money for that kind of gear to be able to throw like a weightless kind of. I'm sure I can, but for that kind of gear, I don't have it. I don't think I'll want to like transition to fully bait casters either. It's nice
Yeah,
having a spinning rod in your hand once in a while to change it up. But I used to not like them at all until I put braid as my backing.
yeah, I did that for my drop shot reel just recent or
Yeah,
like end of last year, and it helped quite a bit with sense like just being able to feel things.
yeah,
And it's for like I don't know, I don't drop
and
shot very
line
much, but
and line twist too. I think that drove me insane.
yeah,
But yeah. Lady Bass Pike close soon. Yeah, they close March 31st, I think, where my lake is, or my area, I guess. And they open up May, I think, or something like that. They're open all year round, like right near like where I live. So I'll be fishing around here probably. Bioluminate Outdoors 101, thank you for joining. I'm a little bit behind.
Do you ever fish Saginaw River? I've fished it like a couple times for walleye on my friend's boat. The guy actually I went with to Houghton Lake with. He has he guides in some areas around here, but yeah, he took me out. He has like a nice bass boat, and we've gone out a few times on the Saginaw for walleye. But they've always been just dink fests, a bunch of fish, and just a few keepers. So
Yeah, so the Husky jerks do suspend. I just checked that and I saw a
okay,
comment. And make sure you guys subscribe to Josh over here. He has a great channel. Bass fishing, pike fishing, ice fishing. All the fish he catches are pretty big, so it's pretty fun to watch. But make sure you guys go subscribe. The link is in the description. But do you use swim
uh,
baits for pike?
I have actually. Like, well, I guess swim baits not so much. I've used like flukes, like soft like, body jerk baits or whatever. I've used those actually a long time ago. Like I think one of my first video or two, I was using that in the river. I was like 3-4 years ago maybe.
Yeah.
But I just don't think it's like you can definitely catch them and you can catch them on a lot of things honestly.
Yeah.
But it's just like if that's soft plastic, they're gonna tear it up a lot, and so you're
Yeah.
gonna go through a lot more versus like as
A
long
jerk
as you don't
bait.
get a snag, you can use a husky jerk, all summer without switching out or maybe the hooks or whatever. But
And you steal leaders all the time?
oh yep, I used to not use ice. when I first started pike fishing in the river, I thought like I don't know why I caught like for a while my biggest fish was like in the river was like 34-inch northern, and
It's
that
not
was
bad.
on like 30 something. I think I was using 15 or 20 pound braid. Like I had like a 12-pound fluorocarbon leader, and then I tied on a braided leader, thinking that was like a
Mm.
steel leader. Even though
Oh,
braided line is like the worst line for a pike, because I've had them break 65-pound braid just easy, like when I'm not intending to
really?
catch pike. I think we've gone out and we've used 30-pound fluorocarbon on our tip ups when we're ice fishing. When
Yeah.
I'm with Joe, the guy I fish with sometimes up north a little bit.
Yeah.
And he always uses like 30-pound, 40-pound fluorocarbon, and he swears by it and stuff. And we lost one fish because of that, and so it's not too bad. We caught a lot more fish, We caught like 50 fish and only broke off one. But and I think normally I think people use heavier than 40, 30-pound
Yeah.
fluorocarbon. But the way I look at it is the reason he does that though is because there's walleye in that lake too,
So
and
you can go for the
walleye,
walleye too.
yeah, walleye they're a lot more line shy than
Yeah.
pike. Pike aren't. I don't. People might disagree, but I don't think pike are line shy at all.
At
Like
all?
I use steel leaders all the time, like on tip ups, black steel leaders, and then minnow and clear water, and I catch tons of pike doing that, and especially when you're fishing casting with a lure, I mean they just see that flash and they're gonna go for it usually.
Yeah.
So
All right, that's good to know. I picked up some leaders and I picked up the husky jerk, so I think I'm set.
yeah,
Have you ever fished saltwater? I fished saltwater 2 or 3 years ago in Key West, and I went to Cuba and I fished saltwater there. Have you?
I have fished saltwater. I did a trolling. We caught like a barracuda. It was pretty nice. It was like I think it was like a 37-inch barracuda, but it
Really?
wasn't really fun because it was on like a huge reel and it was like really heavy mono.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was trolling, so we were like the fish getting dragged on the surface of the water. So it's kind of dumb. But we did that one. I think that was in the Gulf. That was like 2 years ago maybe. And then I've done one time off. I forgot where it was. It was off in the ocean, but we were just dropping down like with like a hook and weight and the meat, like this chunk of meat, and
Yeah,
just catching like sea bass and stuff like that.
yeah,
So nothing. That was before YouTube or before I was like making videos. But that was, I mean, it's fun to experience, but I'd rather go out with a guide, not like a charter,
yeah,
where they
yeah,
can like show you what to do instead of just troll.
yeah.
Because unless I catch like a big marlin trolling, it's not going to be that fun probably. So
Funny thing, you said you caught a barracuda trolling. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
next video coming out.
Yeah, it's one of my. I went saltwater fishing. You guys will see what fish I caught, but I'm not sure. I caught at least one barracuda. I'll tell you guys that. I'm not sure how big my biggest one was though. I didn't have like a measuring tape or anything. It weighed just below 8 pounds.
That's a pretty good size one.
Yeah, but I wish I knew how long it was now so we could compare. Oh well,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, the only one I caught was that one. I've only caught one barracuda, and that was the 37. But we didn't weigh it though, so
Yeah, there you go.
those things are sweet looking though. Like their teeth. I mean, that
Yeah,
thing had
it's
probably like
insane.
1.5 inch teeth. I mean, they're like pike have teeth, but these things like
Have
could,
actual teeth.
yeah, these things could like go through your hand if they bit
Yeah,
onto that. I
yeah.
mean, it was crazy when I saw its teeth. I was surprised.
Yeah, they're really cool looking fish, terrifying looking fish actually. But I would
Yeah.
not. I went scuba diving once actually when I went to Key West, and I scuba dived with barracuda, and like they were small barracuda, but I was still like looking at their mouths with all the teeth. I'm like, nope, I'm out.
Yeah, yeah. I saw someone when we were snorkeling, and this is kind of cool to see them under they're like missiles. I mean, they're so slender and like
Yeah,
mean looking.
the top like they're just full on predator fish.
Saltwater musky. That's what a lot of
Yeah,
people say.
yeah. Uh, what is my plan for my channel and social media once I start university? I'm not stopping. My YouTube and my pages and all that stuff. I'm not quite sure how it's gonna go yet. I'm not quite sure when I'm going for university. When I figure that out, I'll let you guys know how it's gonna go. But all the universities I'm looking at are surrounded by water, so that's good news.
You just have to try to cram all your classes in like 1 or 2 days.
Yeah, and then have the rest to go fishing.
It kind of
But
sucks a couple days, but then you got
yeah, I'll have at least one day off in the week. At least one. I'm gonna have Fridays off when I book, hopefully, at least. So, what is your favorite lure? See, I don't like this question because it depends on the situation, right? But
yeah.
if I can catch a fish on a square bill or on a crankbait, I'll be fishing a square bill or a crankbait. What about you?
Um, if I could basically, well, whenever people ask me that question, I just kind of look at it as like if I had to use one lure, then like if basically a jig is like my confidence bait. If I could only use one lure, then I'd probably use a jig. So that's probably kind of way of answering is,
Yeah.
that's what I'd do is a jig. But just got caught fish. I mean, in summertime, jigs are awesome. They're killer. I
Yeah.
caught like most of my bass over 5 pounds. I've caught, although like a few of them I've caught on jigs.
Really.
So they don't like people say like you'll catch bigger fish, but not a lot. But like I've caught a lot of small fish. You'll catch a lot of small fish on jigs too. But you just seemed like a jig. I don't know what it is. Like people throw them a lot. Like I feel like it's not like they're definitely not like unique to. That's not why they catch big fish. It's just probably somewhat realistic. And I think sometimes it can be a reaction bite too, because lots of times you're throwing it to like say. I mean I'm not always throwing them around cover, but lots of times I'll throw them like around stumps and stuff. And you're looking for that bite on the first one or two drops, down, and then lots of times like I'll make it a couple, casts to a tree, give it a few hops, and then just reel it right in. I won't hop it all the way back sometimes, just if I'm trying to cover a lot of water, because lots of times you're gonna get, you're throwing right to where you think a fish is gonna be. So lots of times you're gonna get that bite on the first drop or two, unless you're just casting out in the middle of the lake or whatever. But
You see, I'm trying to get into jig fishing a lot more this year. I've caught fish on jigs. I've just never gone like an actual jig pattern, which is what my goal is. But yeah, I heard they catch big fish. I actually stocked up with my jig box this year.
yeah, all my best days I think have been on jigs. Like it's just
Really.
yeah, I don't know. If you have a good spot to fish them, like it
Yeah.
sucks when you get a really weedy lake, because then obviously it can be a little harder to fish them.
Yeah.
But you can still throw like swim jigs, and you can fish them like a regular jig. They're just a little more weedless usually.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your favorite fish? For me, it's smallmouth.
Yeah. Well, see, that's also like that depends. I mean, I like carp because carp. I mean, you get 15-minute fights out of those, but they're ugly. They're not like you're fishing on the bottom. You're not fishing. If I could catch carp on like jerkbaits or like lures, all like
That'd
regularly,
be epic.
then that's hands down. That'd be my favorite fish to go for. But since you have to wait for them and stuff, it kind of sucks sometimes. So
Yeah.
I'd probably say like bass. I don't know. I'll go with largemouth just to switch it up. But I mean, smallmouth or largemouth, they're both awesome. So
Pretty cool fish. Have either of you guys fished Lake Nipissing? I'm guessing you haven't because it's in northern. Yeah.
yeah, I've heard of it. But
I haven't, but I've heard amazing things about it. It's quite a ways away from me, but one day I'll get there. I'm sure. I heard they have pretty big walleye there, but yeah.
Someone asked if we have sponsors. My only one's Mystery Tackle Box, and it's like it's not a super serious sponsorship. I mean, that was a couple, like almost a little more than a year ago actually. It was when John worked with Mystery Tackle Box, and he was just looking for people, and so he emailed me, and then that's how I got affiliated with them. But it's all just they just send me boxes, and I make videos with them. It's not like a payment type thing or anything.
Yeah. I work with Simple Fishing, another subscription-based product, except this is like a full-on Canadian. It's actually the only Canadian subscription box now, which is pretty epic. I've been working with them for over about a year now, actually. I'm a brand ambassador for Fishing Icons, like I just wear their apparel kind of thing. And then I'm also a pro staff for Doomsday Tackle, which I became affiliated with this fall. So pretty cool. New England Bash, how's it going? Oh, it's on my wrist. Yeah. I think it's a sprain. I'm not sure. It just kind of hurts. I have it locked up a little bit, so I don't use it too much. But I'm getting it checked out Friday.
Someone asked what's something about drop shotting. Where is that? I just saw it. Oh yeah, how do you learn to drop shot? I think the best, honestly, like, I mean, it's kind of like really. I think of it as almost like really slowly jigging. I mean, you're just casting out, just kind of wiggling a little bit. You want to keep. I think normally people want to keep it towards the bottom, but I mean, you can watch. This is for any kind of learning how to fish or anything. Just go out and like do it. Like that's how I got good at jigs. I mean, I looked up some basic videos and stuff, but mostly I just went out there and just learned. Trial and error. You throw something around, you get bit. You're like, what was I doing? Then you just keep doing that, and that's how I got good at jig fishing. And I mean, I watched some basic videos, but then I just went out and fished jigs, caught a few fish on them, found out how they normally fish, and I started fishing them a lot more. And then now that's my confidence bait. And that was just like a year ago that I started using jigs a ton. So I mean, go out. I mean, you just throw out and just really slowly moving it, just jiggling your rod and stuff. But just going out there and doing it, you're gonna learn a lot more than watching videos.
Yeah. For me, for drop shotting, I was introduced from a video as well. I may have been like a Bassmaster video, and then I googled how to tie one and all that stuff. And I don't think I watched a video of how to fish one until I actually fished one. It's really self-explanatory though. You just have to learn how to tie it, and then it's basically like fishing a jig. I used a drop shot as like a pinpoint kind of bait. Like I'll find the fish first or find structure first, then I'll throw it in there. But I'm gonna have a full-on like drop shot video coming out, like how to tie, how to fish, what baits, what gear to use, coming out this spring. So if you guys are getting into that or want to get into that, I'll have a video out soon. But it's my confidence rig. Like I'll always catch a fish on a drop shot if I'm having a bad day. I mean, I always have a drop shot rigged on my boat. So.
See, everyone says that, but I can't. Like that's one of my weak things is drop shot. Like
really,
I've caught fish on them and stuff, and it's just like I feel like for me, I need to fish it more. Like I need to eat my own words. I just don't fish it a lot, and so I'll throw it out there, and I just feel like like if I don't catch a fish within like 10-15 minutes, I'm like I think I'm doing something wrong, but I just don't know. So I have to go out there on like a good day and just catch a bunch of fish on them, and then
go to Trent, fish the river. I'm probably gonna go to Trent this weekend to go check it out, or next weekend. But I heard that river isn't that bad for bank fishing, at least. Favorite hard bait and soft plastic brands? That's tough.
There's like I don't have like one.
That's like generalizing everything.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like I use power bait sugar craws for trailers sometimes. I use rage craws sometimes.
For hard baits for me, I use a lot of Rapala and Rapala side companies, and Berkeley. I've been using Berkeley's crankbaits for the past year now, and I absolutely love them. My favorite square bow is actually the Pipple. And as a soft plastics, I'm probably going to say Angler's Choice, just because their baits are geared towards smallmouth a little bit more, like northern waters. Their kill shot, you guys know the Angler's Choice kill shot is probably my favorite drop shot bait. But they have everything. I also like, I don't know. Actually, I have a huge variety in my box. It's so hard to choose one.
Yeah, that's a really hard question. I mean, I use the DT series crankbaits for the Rapala.
Yeah.
I like the Shad Wraps or X Wraps, Husky Jerks. Those are all good. They make good crank and jerk baits. I like those. They have, but those aren't like, just what I use. I'm trying to think of other brands. I feel like saying Rapala is too like everyone knows of that. You know?
But I use Rapala a lot.
Yeah, so. They make good baits for sure.
Yeah.
Lucky Craft like Slender Pointer. I like their jerk baits.
I haven't used that one yet.
I've started using a few of like the Livingston Lures, which those are like I'm not sure about those. Like
they kind of seem gimmicky.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like I think they definitely catch fish. Like I've caught fish on them. I have a few and I've used them. Like I think the bait itself definitely catches fish. Like I mean, they're still like their lipless crankbaits are very similar to red eye shads. I mean, they're gonna catch fish still, but I don't know how the electronic bait fish sound. That's the only thing. I feel like that's like they're trying to make that big selling point.
Yeah, I don't think it's that much of a deal. Like a chain.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm not sure about. But I mean, they definitely catch fish. It's just I don't know how much of a difference that is from other lures.
Yeah. What's your biggest carp and your biggest pike?
Biggest carp is like 25 or 24 pounds. That was 2 years ago, I think. And I've caught quite a few in like the upper teens and low 20 pounds, but I've seen them caught like upper 20s, low 30s around where I fish. So I know there's probably mid 30s in the area I fish. I just haven't gotten into one. And in pike 36 inches, I caught the same one twice this ice fishing season.
Wow.
And before I finally beat it it was 35 previously. I've like beat it by an inch just like continuously. That's a
pretty big fish though.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, especially the one. Well, the one I got was out of a lake at 36, and so it was a nice like it was like probably 15 pounds or so. It was a nice,
Wow.
healthy fish. If I caught that in the river, it'd be like half the weight probably. I mean, in the river I've caught some nice thick ones in the river. Like
Yeah.
those like been eating a lot, but lots of times in the river, like at least the rivers high fish, there's mostly crawfish and stuff. I've not seen like a lot
A
of
lot
bluegill.
thinner. Yeah.
Yeah, I've not seen a lot of bluegill in the rivers I fish, the smaller ones, and so it's just the pike don't have as much to eat, which makes them easier to catch. But
Yeah.
they're also a little
Smaller.
less healthy looking. Yeah.
What's your favorite drop shot rod? So I recently, for Christmas, I actually got a new drop shot rod. It's a 7 foot medium fast action rod. I've used a 6.6 medium light. I've used a 6.6 medium, and I've used a 7 foot medium fast. I like the 7 foot a lot just because I find myself casting my drop shot a little bit more often than not. Um, Shorter rods are really good for fishing the drop shot like right over your sonar, I guess you could say, kind of like a video game. That's what people refer it to. With a 7 foot, I feel like we get best of both worlds. Best of both worlds. Able to cast a pretty far distance if you want to. It's able to drag it like down a ledge or something, and you're also able to fish it pretty close to the boat. But I know lots of people, especially on the Great Lakes, that fish like a 7.6 or a 7.4 medium or medium light. I don't really like fishing the medium light. I feel like it's a little bit too like small, I guess you could say. But I don't know. I may go back to medium light in the future just because it is a little bit lighter setup. But I feel like a medium is like a perfect rod. You also be able to use it for other techniques too. It's like an overall rod. How about you?
I don't have a ton to say about drop shotting.
No.
The the rod I use is like a 610, so it's a shorter rod.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about getting like a 7.2. I've been recommended that by a couple people
Yeah.
just for like a good sensitive rod. Since I don't have the boats I use are all just like aluminum flat bottom boats or rowboats or whatever. That I could just
Yeah.
I don't have a boat myself, so I just use other people's boats, and so there's no like sonars or anything. I mean, the 610 I have works pretty well. I've never had too much of a problem feeling fish, but I just don't drop shot a whole bunch. So
Yeah.
I've never, gone and bought a really nice drop shot rod yet. But I like to get into it more, fishing deep and finesse, and that's kind of my weakness is like fishing deep. So hopefully this summer I can do that more.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, this kind of depends on what you like. There's a bunch of people that use short rods, a bunch of people that prefer long rods. People use moderate action rods. People use extra fast action rods. It just kind of
Yeah.
depends on what you like. But you can also like I know Benjamin Nowak made his own custom drop shot rod. If you want something very specific, that's definitely the way to go. I would think it costs about the same. You just got to put more time into it. So
Yeah, one of my friends is trying to build some custom rods, and the idea seems really cool, but it's so much effort and time to
yeah,
put,
and
which
work.
it pays off, I'm sure, because especially, but like for me, like there's some things I'm picky about with my rods, but I'm not like it
That
needs to be
picky.
a 7 foot 1 inch with a medium
Yeah,
fast action rod, a quick taper. Like
yeah,
I'm not that specific. Like I'll go to the store and there's like certain things I'll look for, and and I'll look for like a quality feeling rod and stuff, but I
yeah,
don't need like that kind of where I want to spend the time and money to make my own custom rod.
yeah.
I might get there eventually, but right now I don't
Not
need
that
that.
point. Tackle Junkie, how's it going? I just watched your unboxing video. I love those videos so much. Um, Favorite rod or reel for jigs or cranks? For rods, for crankbaits, depends on the crankbait. For crankbaits that dive less than 10 feet, I use a 7 foot medium moderate with a 6.3 to 1. And then for jigs, I actually just picked up a new jig combo. It's a 7.6 heavy. So, and
Yeah,
then,
I'm trying to think. Or what were you gonna say?
no, I was going to ask you.
Oh, yeah. I only have trying to think because that's another thing. I don't do a whole bunch of crankbait fishing just because the lakes I fish, or the two lakes I fish mainly are really weedy. There's one lake the lake I called the Pike at the big Pike this winter. Those are deep. Like it's like it's like there's channels that are like 25, 30 feet deep. So that's definitely where you do like deep crankbait fishing or whatever. And it's not as weedy either. So I want to do more crankbait fishing there. But right now, I'm trying to think what rod I use. I'm not sure the name of the brand of the rod. But yeah, I just like a, kind of a faster, like a quick tip, but it goes in more backbone because obviously the troubles and just
Yeah.
not ripping out of their mouth. But yeah, I'm not too specific right now. I just have a kind of one I use it for medium. I've never gone deep crankbait fishing, so not too much to help with that one. But
For crankbaits, you definitely want either a moderate fast or a moderate action rod, so you don't rip out the treble hooks from the fish's mouth. I used to use a 7-foot medium heavy fast action rod, and I've noticed I've hooked up a lot more fish, and I've kept more fish on with my moderate action rod. I'm going to be picking up a deep cranking rod eventually, hopefully this spring. But to complete my arsenal finally, because I don't have a deep cranking rod. I can't fish anything over 10 feet with my medium moderate. So yeah, we'll see. I want to reach that like 20. Like I want to throw a 6XD and reach that 20-foot area, just
yeah,
because
I
scoring
think
fish, not stuff.
yeah, I think the deepest I've ever caught a fish is probably like 20 feet, or like bass wise. I've ice
Yeah.
fished deeper, but the deepest I've ever caught a bass in open water is probably like 20 feet or so, and I was like on a drop shot. Like crankbaiting, I mean, I don't do a whole bunch of it, but whenever I do, it's like shallow square bills on rocks and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's never like, it's never really much more than 5 feet or so.
Yeah, I used to never fish like below 20 feet, but this summer I started fishing like the 40-foot area, and I've caught a fair amount of fish from that deep. I fished a shaky head, a drop shot. Um, I know people that actually gotten crankbaits down to like 60 feet.
That's crazy.
I don't
I,
know how they do
well, the
it.
thing is with that, you'd have to make such long casts for that to
And
bait.
you have to troll, I think, to get it
Oh,
down that
okay.
far. There's
Yeah,
no
'cause
way you could.
yeah, 'cause you'd
Yeah,
have to make a long cast, and you'd be in the strike, you'd be in 60 feet for 10 yards or whatever before it
yeah,
starts coming back up.
yeah. Will you ever try Shimano bait casters? Yes, I will.
Yeah,
I will for sure try Shimano bait casters.
yeah, I've thought about them. I'm sure they work great, but the thing is, they're kind of like the top of the line reels. They're
Yeah,
probably one of the most expensive brands,
yeah.
um, in general at least. And so, they look sweet. I'm sure they perform awesome. I just never
Yeah.
wanted to spend that much money on them.
Yeah, I like the dye with Tulas a lot. They're between $130 and $150 depending on where you buy and all that stuff. And I really do like them, but I do want to try some of the Shimano gear to compare. I'm actually looking at the Zodius rod right now, but we'll see. Arsenal videos soon. For me, I actually made an Arsenal video back in like December or January. If you guys want to see that, my Arsenal has changed a fair bit since then. I'll be making another one right before season opener. You made a new Arsenal video too, right? Like a little
Yep, I
while.
made one I think around December or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much up to date. I don't think I've got made I don't think I've got anything new other than I might have switched one of the reels, but I'd like to. I mean, I think that I'm pretty happy with my setups right now. I still
Yeah.
need to get a few things like a deep crankbait rod. I might upgrade
Yeah.
a few of my rods that are kind of cheaper, but I've never had really any big problems with anything I'm using right now.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we're gonna be on for another like 5-10 minutes. If you guys have any last minute questions, let us know. Zodius are so expensive. Yeah, they're I think $200. But I've heard amazing things about them. I actually felt a couple and held a couple at the show that I just went to, and those rods feel amazing. So I may have to buy one or two. But do you ever stop talking to each other and look at the chat? I actually have the chat on my screen, so I'm able to look at
And that's what I'm
Josh.
looking at right here.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So I'm reading the comments all the time. I bought a Shimano Corrado thinking it would be my new favorite reel. I like my Abu Garcia River better, and I paid for less for it. I've never been an Abu Garcia person. Fluger and Abu Garcia are made by the same company, so their reels feel like really similar. I do like my Fluger, but I'm probably not gonna buy an Abu or Fluger again. But I like my Daiwas, and I'm thinking I'm gonna like the Shimanos if I do buy any. So I'm gonna stick to those brands for now. But casitas, yeah, I was actually gonna when I bought my CT, I was looking at the casitas and I was looking at the CT. I actually went with the CT, just because I like the feel of it a little bit better. But the casitas does feel pretty good. I mean, so
see, I got an Abu Garcia or a winch for crankbaiting. It's like a crankbait reel. Has like a nice wide reel, and but it's like a 5.4 or 5.6 to 1,
Hmm.
so which is really. I was thinking it would be good for everyone
Deep
says
crankbaits.
yeah, but like the thing is I can't reel like I don't know. I've trying it. I try and you have to reel so fast if you get a fish.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
never done like super deep crankbaits with it where they have a huge bill or anything where it's like a bunch of drag, which is
Yeah.
normally where if you've done it. I've thought about maybe trying to like throw A rigs, Alabama rigs on it because I know
Like
those
swim baits or something.
yeah you want to throw those slower, but it's like $100 reel and I've used it a couple times because I don't like how slow it reels.
No.
It kind of sucks, but it feels like a good reel though. I mean, that's only Abu Garcia I have though.
Yeah. The old Corrados are the best. I'm actually looking at a bunch of the older Shimano gear, like the Chronarchs and Corrados. It's really hard to find some of them up here, but I'm going to be going to a couple of the fishing shows. Should be some swaps there, so if I do find anything, I may pick one up. But I've heard amazing things about the Corrados and the older Chronarchs. Do you plan on fishing with subscribers? That question's popped up a couple
Yep, I
times.
just saw that one. Yeah, I do. I actually have. I fished with several guys from my area who've around my age or whatever who have like messaged me or whatever. It's just the thing is, whenever I go out, it ends up being like they're good spots. Like it's either a pond someone's told me about
Yeah.
that they've said it's a good pond. They'll show me like one guy Evan actually I've fished with him a couple of times and it's like farm pond. It's like a private little pond. He showed me a picture like a 7 pounder he pulled out of there. And
Shit.
it's like, I mean, like a Michigan 7 pounder, that's like a good size fish.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it looks all of 7. I mean, but every time we've gone there, it's just like the thing is, I think about the pond is like it has small fish in it, like a lot of like
A lot of small
11,
fish.
12 inch
Yeah.
fish. But then I've caught like a 3.5 out of there, and it seems like you like have to catch like it's either a 12-inch fish or like a 3+ pounder. Like it doesn't seem like, but there's
Yeah.
a good number of like decent sized fish. It seems like. I might actually fish with him. I think we wanted to do like a mystery tackle box challenge thing. But I'm going to be going to Colorado tomorrow, so it'll probably be after that. But
Yeah.
to answer the question, yeah, I do fish with subscribers. And if you want to fish with me and you're in the area or whatever, just like send me an email. And if you have a good spot, that's the thing though. I don't like taking people like I'm not like a charter,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want
Exactly.
like if you're in the area, I can take you to some like general areas, but I don't want to take you to spots where I'm catching huge fish just because I don't necessarily know you that well. So
Yeah. And it's around here. It's a lot harder to find some good spots, especially. I live near Toronto. I don't know if you guys know, but Toronto's like a major. It's like the biggest city in Canada, right? So it's really, really hard to find spots near me. And I don't know. I feel like if I would go fishing with someone, I wouldn't go to my lake just because it is a little bit more private. I will get crapped on if people start showing up. They know that I do YouTube, right? So they'll know it's me.
yeah, that's the thing
So
about YouTube. It kind of sucks.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I had one pond by my house that used to have like, oh, and the thing is too, especially smaller bodies of water. Like I fish a lot of smaller bodies of water. Um, and I mean those can like people don't realize it, but you can ruin a body of water. Like if it's like under 50 acres of water, you can ruin it so quickly. Like there's a small pond. It was like maybe 5 acres by my house. And
yeah.
you used to be able to go there and on probably any given day you could get like a 15-pound bag even easily. Like I
Wow.
mean it wasn't hard fishing though. It was like I wouldn't go there and make a lot of videos there, but like it would be a spot where I could go for like a backup. Like if I just can't catch fish anywhere else, you could go there and just walk the bank and catch really nice fish. And then the wrong person found out about it, kept a bunch of
Yeah.
bass, and just now you'll rarely catch like something over 2 pounds in there now. Like people just that's the thing about like it just sucks. Like some people just aren't considerate and they'll just go out there
No.
keep a bunch of fish, especially bass. Like I
Who keeps bass?
yeah like I get like catfish, perch, crappie, bluegill, all those like there's a lot better fish in my opinion. And like a long time ago, I have eaten a bass, but like
I haven't.
um,
I think I've eaten a rock bass. Or no, I'm trying. Someone told me to try a rock bass. I'm gonna try a rock bass because I hate rock bass.
yeah.
They're really, really aggressive and they eat everything and it really pisses me off. But I'm pretty sure they taste like perch a bit. I would think at least, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think
Oh,
I don't know, I can't like tell the difference. I don't eat fish enough. I like fish,
okay,
but I can't tell the difference between them.
okay.
Someone asked me if Adam asked if I ever fished for brook trout. I've never caught one, but that's one of the species I'm hopefully gonna catch when I go to Colorado for one of the days. He said my friend has a few spots where he can catch brook trout, so that's definitely brook trout and lake trout are the two main trout I've never caught. I've caught rainbows and rainbows and browns, but there's pretty much all the trout species are down there. So I'm hopefully each day maybe go for a different one or something. We'll see.
Yeah, that's cool. Have you used chatterbaits? I actually caught my PB on a chatterbait. I retired that one, obviously, but I love chatterbaits. I feel like they're really, really good presentation in my area, at least. I have cover a lot of weeds, and they seem to come through pretty well through sparse vegetation, at least. Through like some of the heavier grass patches, it's pretty bad. But especially up here, people don't really fish chatterbaits or that kind of presentation, so I feel like I have an advantage with that too. But I've caught my personal best, I think, rock bass on a chatterbait, or was it a jig? I'm not sure, but everything eats them. Everything loves chatterbaits.
Yeah, I had never used one or never really used one much until like last fall. And then one day I was just like, it seems like might be a good chatterbait day. And so I threw one out, and like within 5 minutes I had hooked and lost like a 2.5 pounder. And then that day I ended up catching some nice bass. And then the whole rest of the fall, like that was my confidence bait with a chatterbait. So I just recently started using them like less than a year ago. And I definitely like them. They definitely catch fish.
Are you gonna make a catch and cook video? I was gonna make one over the winter just because the only fish we keep are perch, and we only fish for perch in the winter. But ice season's over for me, so I'm not quite sure. But I will eventually make a catch and cook. All right, so like 5 more minutes, we can log off. No? Yes, I think he's reading the comments.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like 5
Yeah,
more
I'm
minutes,
fine.
like a lot more questions. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was a general question, general comment.
What made you get into YouTube? So we can both answer this one, I guess. For me, I don't have a bunch of people in my area that I know of that actually fish. So I felt like this is a good outlet to like learn a little bit more, talk to people about fishing, kind of have like a general fishing community, I guess you could say, because I wasn't able to find that here. And also, I've always been kind of creative. I used to be really big into photography, and then I started making dirt bike videos. Those are on a different channel. They're pretty bad, but I've been watching YouTubers, like fishing YouTubers, for about 3 years now. So I figured, why not give it a try? And it's really, really fun. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I get asked this like a decent amount, and I really don't know. I know that I remember the first time I went out, and I think I deleted the video because I should have kept it up because it's kind of funny, but it was a very bad video. I mean, it was ice fishing probably like 3 or 4 years ago, and I went out to a little pond and took a 5-gallon bucket and just stuck a little. It was like I don't know what kind of camera. It was a weird looking camera, and I just recorded myself like from probably like it was far away. It was like 10 yards, and I was just catching like average sized bluegill, and it wasn't saying anything, words to the camera. I just caught him and released him, and I just made that into a video, and it was pretty boring. But I just remember that's how I kind of started. Like right now, one reason I do it is just because it's like a fun way to document it. Like I like going back every once in a while and like watching videos from not too long ago because I cringe sometimes with some of my older videos.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, but like within like a year or so, I like to watch like it's just you can remember it a lot better, and you can also like show like you can show someone a picture of a big fish or say here I recorded the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's just kind of cool to show people like or for people to see it or and just for you to go back and watch it to remember it and stuff like that. It's just and editing honestly. I like making things like I'm proud of like when I can like make something cool like ice fishing. I tried making cooler videos, and it's fun to watch them. Like you feel like accomplished afterwards when you make like a cool video.
The worst part is though, is editing and realizing this video is gonna suck.
Yeah, I've had that happen.
I've had that happen. I was like, I'm gonna post it anyways, but it's not gonna be a good video. But I guess this will be the last question. No one else is asking questions, but do you ever kayak fish?
I have kayak fished. I don't do it a whole ton just because I don't have a kayak, but I can see where it would be really nice just because you can get farther places. You can get out. You can just get out a lot farther, like shallow water or whatever. Where other boats can't get. But I don't like it because it's wind. You're like a lot more prone to wind. You have to anchor down, or even when you're fighting fish, fish can pull you. Like a 4-pound bass or whatever can turn your kayak and pull you a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's the only downside I can see to it. Like wind is a big thing. Like I have enough trouble with that just because I fish like rowboats and stuff. Where even then,
Yeah.
you know, unless you're anchoring down, I don't have a trolling motor with my foot or anything. So wind can just be a lot more of a problem, especially when you're in a smaller boat.
Yeah, for me, I only kayak fish in the evening when the wind dies down. The most frustrating thing for me is not being able to control my boat or my kayak. It just drives me insane. So I only kayak fish in the evening when the wind dies down. One of my favorite parts of fishing is actually kayak fishing in the evening with a popper in my hand, catching some smallmouth. Because I have a pretty good smallmouth spot, like literally right off my dock, kind of thing. Um, so they come up there in the winter to feed, in the summer to feed up in the evening. So that's actually where I caught my personal best. So it's pretty cool. So I'm just going to end it there. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this live stream. It will be up later, so you guys that missed it will be able to watch it. But make sure you guys subscribe to Peelindrag or Josh from Peelindrag. Great guy. I've been watching him for like 3 years now, which is pretty funny. He makes bass fishing, pike fishing, ice fishing videos. Really knowledgeable. I'll leave the link in the description. But thank you guys for watching. If you guys want any discount codes or coupon codes, they're also in the description. All my social media is also there. If you guys have any questions that I missed or anything like that, send me a DM or comment on one of my videos on Instagram, and I'll make sure to answer. I'll probably live stream again in another 2 weeks or so. So I guess I'll see you guys there. And my first Cuba video will be coming out Saturday. So yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.